Hi guys, so as you've been requesting, you want a new video from me, so here I am doing a new video for you. But this time, we've got this to focus on, and which is the golden ticket that explains us how to take trades every day. So, I've specifically looked for a recording that had trades against the trend, so arrows against the trend, just so I could prove you how it works, because I feel like arrows with the trend are super easy, and by now everyone knows how easy they are to trade, and you can literally most of the time get in even last minute and win it. But it's more difficult when you have a trend that is strongly up and arrows down, like for example we have EU here. So this is how I come in during the day. And before I start my session, I open the GoToMeeting and I just look at the 1 and 4. Mainly 1 and 4, and not really 8 hour and daily, but this is what's telling us where to go. Like Jazz said, these are the ones that are telling you exactly where the price is going, so you have to follow them. Okay, so I've opened up the room, and it seems like we've got a trend down. However, we have on 30 minutes and 15 minutes and 5 minutes a sort of an uptrend, right? And this is kind of pointing up, and there's also a small red up. So that's also a concern for me, because it looks like it's a bit more up. However, you can see on both sides, as BR is looking usually, there's candles above the orange road and also under, so it's a mix of both. But we have nothing on the 4 hour. We have a previous one that's down, but that's also small red. And we have this. Now we have to see whether this is going to last or not. If it is, then we are looking to take this straight up. However, if this disappears, then we're going to take it down. Now on EU, we've got a super clear uptrend. This is also an uptrend, even if it's below the orange road. The yellow line, yeah, the orange road is below. Look at the straight uptrend. You can see there's no candles underneath the orange road, no candles underneath the orange road. However, you have got now a red 4 hour down and a super pink down. Now, even if the new candle that just came up has nothing on it, usually we would go with the previous candle, that whatever it was. However, we need to wait and see whether this is going to come down and touch the orange road and go back up, or whether this is going to bring another new arrow, because now we have a 4 hour pushing us down. And if this becomes super pink, then we're definitely looking for down, even if we've got a strong trend up. And you're thinking, I'm going to take this sucker up, do not dare to. This is still an arrow, this is still an arrow, don't do that. Okay, and you see, we got a strong trend down, strong trend down, strong trend down, trend down. However, our previous candle had 1 arrow up. This is a small red up, so a down, so we'll see what's happening with this. And this is also, I think, a previous arrow up. Okay, so this looks like a small trend down, right? But we're not sure exactly, because look where the 1 hour candle is, the new one. It's right at the top of the BB band. So we don't know whether it's gonna touch and come down, or it's gonna go up, or we're gonna get any arrows, because remember, look at the time. It's super early, we just started the class, so we don't know exactly. So let's hit it. Let's find out. What do we have? So right now, I usually then, after I've checked all of this, I go through all the small charts and I'm looking at where the position of the candle is, because that's where it's telling me where is it gonna go, or where did it go and now it wants to go, and whether I want to enter on it or not. Now, I would have loved to have taken this GU if I want it to go down. Like, I feel like it's gonna go down. I would have loved to take it on this top BB band touch. However, it's not the case right now. So I would always look at where the candle is. Where is it positioned? It's above the orange road. It's above the orange road. It's not a lot of pips around here. Not a lot of pips between the top BB band and the orange road. Also, it's confused at the moment because we don't know exactly whether this is going to last or not. And this is what happens usually within the first 20 minutes of the session opening. You don't really have to jump in and go ahead and trade. You have to wait to kind of see the trade settling and the trend or whatever the arrows you got against you, because then you know for sure, okay, it's gonna go. But if it's starting like this and in the next 5 minutes this disappears, or you can see the candle is deciding, it's not really safe to trade. And then you also have the band flipping up, so we don't really know where is it gonna go. So we just let it breathe. Okay, EU. So we definitely have something going on with that 4 hour and the 1 hour. We got this. Oh, now we have a new 15 down. Now I would have taken this 15 down, and there's also flashing 30. If this started, if we started the room and this candle would have been on the top of the BB bed, I would have taken this straight down. But because it's at the orange road, and look, it's right next to the bottom BB band, it's not safe for us to take it anymore. And especially that it's against the trend, which is super high. You can see the trend is clear high. So we are not going to touch this trade that's evolving right now. Even if it's gonna work, we don't care. We're gonna let it come down, go back up, and when it touches this top BB band or this one, wherever it wants to go, depending on which time frame it has arrows up. So if it has an arrow up here, it's gonna go up until here. If it has an arrow up here, it's gonna go up until here. So we're gonna let this decide, and then we're gonna see what we trade. So you see, we've got this candle being here on 5 minutes. We've got the candle here above the orange road, and all of our previous arrows were up. So we don't have any brand new 15 minutes to take us somewhere. So we're gonna let this decide also where it wants to go. I would prefer if this touches the BB band and we get a confirmation that, sorry, the orange road here, and we get a confirmation from here and here to go up. It looks like it wants to go up. You can see the 1 hour disappeared. So, but again, analyze where the candle is positioned. Look how close it is to the top BB band. Close to the top BB band. It's not worth it yet because you don't know whether it's gonna start a huge trend trade against the trend, or it's just gonna touch this and come back down, shooting down and killing you. So you just let it breathe, and you just stay focused. You just analyze this whole situation. I'm not gonna go over this, the play of the day, because I'm doing usually only these three, so I'm gonna focus on these three. Now it seems like G wants to go down, and you can see how nicely it developed. We have a HE arrow. However, we're not taking this because it's super close to the BB band here. It looks like it's kind of already done its move, so we're gonna let it come down and then go back up, and then if the trades are gonna be down, we're gonna take it down. Same story for the EU. It's super low right now. This was a trade from here, from 0.8 to 0.2. And same story with UC. I don't really believe it's gonna go down because we still don't have any confirmation on 50 minutes down or 30 down. Even if we have the trend with us, all of our previous arrows were up against the trend, and ooh, look what's happening here. We got a flashing up. So we gotta also consider what was the previous candle or the previous move that we had, because if we don't have an arrow against it, this might actually push it up until whatever it wants to go, or up until here to 4 hour. So you gotta always be considerate of the previous arrow on the 1 and 4 hour, because you might still take it to that place, unless you get 15 or 30 minutes arrows down that confirms it to go back down with the trend. So I'm gonna scroll it a little bit down, so you can see we have a green momentum. So this is obviously an uptrend right now because of the flashing 4 hour. However, we're not taking it now because it's very high up on the top BB band. This is where I would enter for a down, not for an uptrend or trade. This is where I would enter for a down. and here, and here. So let's put it a bit further. Okay, so as you can see, this went all the way up until here. Now it's gonna go up, so we're gonna let it come back up and then we're gonna take it down. Same story with EU. Let it come back up to here, then take it down. Now we have a 15 minutes and 30 minutes with this, and now we have a 4-hour super pink. So this is definitely an against the trend trade. However, we have arrows. This is the confirmation you need when you want to go down on it. But it's very low right now, and we need to get it up, back up until here, or at least the orange road. We see which one's the next stop that it wants to go. And you know it's going to go back down when you get a confirmation of either being the DX, new arrow up here and here, or the mums. So let's put it a bit forward. Okay, so now we're getting a retracement. So you can see this trade is almost stopping here because it wants to go down here. We still have the DX green, this being red. So if you're an orange road trader, you could have started to take this at now at 60. And you could see it touched the 15 minutes orange road. However, this for me is still a small space. That's why I prefer to take it from here, because I take 10 pips trade, not 5 or 3 or 4. So for me, the best trade would have been from here, but it looks like it wants to stop around here to carry on going down. Okay, let's go a bit further. So, yeah, you see this is already 6 pips. It's still a good trade. And now we have a 1 hour with us down. So this was a good trade. However, you see, you have to consider the risks when you start from here, and the orange road and the BB band distance between it, it's not that big. You have to consider the risk that it's going to touch the bottom BB band and come back up. That's why we don't advise you to take trades super low, because you don't have the margin of safety being if you start here and the momentum is red, it's obviously going to go down a few pips. So if it decides to come back up, you're still in profit because you started right here. However, if this happens here and it starts to get a green momentum, it's going to go up and it's going to go against you in like a second. You're going to be in -5 because it started super low. You see what I mean? And there's plenty of space from here to the top BB band for it to go against you. However, from the top BB band here, there's not really anywhere to go if you've gone with the trend or with the arrows again down. So this worked from 60 to 53 already, 7 pips. So that's how you know where a trade wants to stop and start from the orange road. However, again, like I said, consider the risks that it might bounce from the bottom BB band, but this one didn't. So you're still in the trend because you have the 15 and the 30 minutes with you. Pardon me. Okay. So we stay in this trade until we get an arrow against us or momentum changes. So let's move it a bit further. So now the BB band closed, meaning that it's going to retrace a bit. Okay, so that's 10 pips from 60 to 50. Okay, now again, usually when I exit from a trade, what do? I wait for the next setup to appear. That means letting it go back up again, either at the orange road or the top BB band. Usually I take it from the top BB band and then I go back down again with my setup being correct. So that's 10 pips. So you could have exited if you wanted or not. You could have stayed in it, see if you get some more. Now let's check for another trade on EU. Now I got the top of the BB bands pointing down, which is a good sign because that means it's going to go down. However, we have this working against us, so we need this to go back up until here and then take it down again. We got a 50 with us, we got a 30 with us, we're good. We also have a 1 and 4 strong super pink correlation, which is also a great thing. So let's forward a bit. Come on. So you see how long you have to wait for this from here to move all the way up until here? That's been already like 20 minutes or something. 30. I know this is the hard thing. To have the patience to wait and not get in because you get frustrated that it didn't start already and you think that's it because it goes slow up. You think that's it, it's gonna carry on further down. No, that's the wrong signal that you get. This sucker is gonna definitely go up here and it's gonna screw your profits if you've taken it from here or from here. So you gotta let this thing either touch the orange road or the top BB band and then take it back down. And if it's gonna take an hour or 30 minutes, you're gonna have to stay in it and just wait for it to go back up. Same story with G now, you see? So let's see how is it gonna touch the 5 minutes. As soon as it touches, sometimes it doesn't really get to the orange road, it just touches, it just gets the wick and then it comes back down. So let's see which one is it gonna be. Our DX is red, so this means this is gonna go down and these two are going up, even though we don't have any functioning moms at the moment. So this needs to touch a little bit of the orange road and then it's gonna shoot down. The same story with GU. However, you have a small red here, so you're gonna let this decide what it's gonna be. And I would advise it for you to wait until this touches the orange road. It's gonna go a bit up until it touches the orange road, or creates a wick that touches this, and then it's gonna come back down. Right. So now I got on your 15 minutes. Even if it's small red, it's still a signal because it's with a 5 and 15 and it's pretty good. And this is a trend one. So we're gonna let this work out, and when it touches the top BB band and this disappears, we're gonna take it down, or we get a new one. Okay. Okay, so the touch of the BB band happened about at 98. Now. At 98. Right. So if this wouldn't have been here, I would have been in straight away. That would have been a perfect trade. Now this is not really a perfect trade, but I think this is gonna come down too. Because I think it's not, it can't, it's too small of a red to go past the orange road. It has to become a pink. Now we don't have any momentum down, we don't have any DX down, so we can't take it. It's just 98, 97. Now we touch the B, and you see when it retraces, that's when BOR and all the good MTs take the trades on the top BB band. When that happens, the wick, boom, it's already in 2 bips from there. So let's find out if this is gonna go down or up. Yeah, you see what this 15 minutes does? It still pushes us up, but if we didn't have this 15, it would have gone down again, because we have a strong correlation again between 1 and 4 hour. So if we get a green DX, then that means it's a good trade to go down. And you can go down on it without waiting for the momentum. However, we are not getting that, so UC is down at the moment, it's retracing. So same with GU is going up, is retracing up. It's probably gonna touch again the orange road and then come back down, and we're waiting for that moment. And it's also close to the BB band, top BB band, so this is perfect. Okay, so let it touch the top of the BB band or the orange road, and as soon as it shows a sign it's gonna come down, you take it. Now I can't really see the wick if it happened already or not. Let's move it a bit further. Right. So look at it now. You see, it touched the top BB band at 48. It's on top of the BB band, so this is where you prepare to analyze for a down. Same story here. You prepare to analyze for a down as soon as this disappears. You got a 5 down, but it's still you can't trust it. You have contradicting signals, so you do not take it. You gotta wait. Plus, you have your DX green, red, so it's not in your favor. Okay, so look how high you went from to 0 to. See, we still have the DX red. We still have nothing to tell us to go back down. We have a 15 minutes against us right now. So it's probably gonna go up until here now because we got an arrow, we got a super pink. So now it's gonna go probably up until here and then come down, or change back into red, small red, and then come back down. So it's at 49, and it's gonna also probably touch this top BB band, but this is the main important one, and this. The trades, however, are more likely to touch the BB bands on the 5 minutes band, up or down. Okay. Let's see. Now this turned into a trend trade because this now disappeared. It's made into small red. This disappeared, so it became a trend trade. You do not have to take this up. I wouldn't, even if it's with the trend. When you have contradicting signals, super pinks here, I do not dare to take it back up if I still have these things laying around here. If it's a 30, 15, and 5 and it starts from here, yeah, I would. But otherwise, this 5 on its own, I would not take it, just because I do not want to risk it. So I think this is going to come down soon now. And we will realize when it comes down straight away. And this touched the top BB band, you can see the wick. So it's going to come back anytime now, and we're going to take it down. Okay. Let's see. Okay, see, here we go. That's our confirmation. So I'll let it come. So here we are. We enter at 48. Yeah, you got them all with you. So it started at 50.49, which is still good. Actually, let it go up. So sometimes it happens like that. You see, you get the arrow first. However, it retraces back up a bit, and then it comes down. But you have them on with you, which is great. You're on the top of the BB band, so you are good to go. Now we also have the DX. See? So as soon as this DX turns around, look how your trade is flying from 49 or 48 down. So this is a trade that we've just entered in, and this is a downtrend because Geo right now is down. You see, the roads are down, pointing down. This is down now, so it's perfect. And we just ride it. Move it a bit further. And don't worry if it goes back up a bit against you. You're safe because you're at the top of the BB band. It's gonna come back down. It takes a while. It takes a few minutes. You can't just expect a trade to ride you for 10 pips in like a minute. I love those trades, of course, but they're not there every day. So you gotta be understanding with that and just be patient and calm down. If you've taken the right setting, you've taken it from the top, you're fine. You've taken it with arrows, with touches of the BB bands or the orange roads, or with moms or DX. You have nothing to worry about. You just stay here and breathe and just calm yourself down and get yourself used to seeing these trades and staying calm and waiting and being patient. It's all about patience here. You cannot screw this up if all you gotta do in here all day long is take a trade from up here to go down. If it's with down, take a trade, wait for this trade to come back down here and take it up. once you got a trend up or arrows to go up. This is all you do all day long. Either take it down or take it up. How? As soon as it touches this wall, it touches this wall, you get a confirmation like this or like this. That's when you enter. And that's what's a kind of a perfect trade that I like. From the top of the BB band with arrow, with momentum, with the X, going down. And the same story goes for EU. It started from here, you see. From 0.6, it's at 95. That's 11 pips already. However, we took this GU, so we're still in it. Same story with UC. It started from the top, from the bottom of the BB band. It touched the BB band. This one touched the BB band here. It touched the BB band here. So when you're waiting for this thing to go up, 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 and then it touches the BB band, and then you get momentum or DX and arrows down, you better believe that this is gonna go down, especially that it had a 1 and 4. And you see how it came back? And this is why I don't take this one, because I'm not always 100% sure that it's gonna go up until wherever I want to for like 15 or 20 bips like I do with 1 and 4 hour correlations. So I'd rather let this thing go back up, skip it, and then take the perfect one. Why perfect? Because it had the 1 and 4 hour with us. That's why. Now this is playing some games, so just ignore it. This is still happening down. Now we have a band flip up. It's still gonna go a bit down. It's not gonna go up until it comes back up until here and then go back up. So we're gonna let this thing come down and then take it from as many pips we have. Don't be stubborn though, and if you get an error against, you stay in it because you think it's gonna disappear. Don't do that. Just be wise and be considerate and know when there's a trade with an arrow coming against you, just exit. Why risk it? There's no point risking it. So most of the times I do have trades like this, but I have to wait for some time to come back down. And you're in the right, because you've taken it from the top BB band. You had arrows with you. The only thing, though, that I wished it was that this 15 minutes have touched the orange road. However, this is a new arrow. It would definitely go down if we had the 15 minutes down with us. So, let's see. Here we are. So we took it at 48, right? From here, and now it's coming down, and it's at 40, so that's 8 pips already. I know I did say that I was gonna lash out at you guys, but I'm after a session of trading now, and I'm feeling super exhausted. I don't know how you feel after 2 hours and a half trading, but I get very exhausted because I'm so focused and I'm literally by millisecond watching this thing come here, touch, and as soon as I see a small retracement, bam, I'm in it. It's that perfect that you gotta be just like a surgeon when doing a heart open surgery. You have to be super, super detailed and cautious and on it. So, okay, we got GU. And that's already 10 pips. It just went down to 38, I think. So we got our 10 pips. Come on, where were you? Well done. Okay, so that was one trade. Now, let's look for... Now, usually I take trades once while this is going on. So that's why I've showed you one on GU and I've ignored these two because I take one trade. I like to focus on one. I can't do 3 at the same time because I need to follow them closely and see where they're at. So I can't do that with 3 times the trades on 3 different charts or pairs. It's gotta be perfect, and that's why I take it once at a time. Okay, now let's go back and check on EU, a good entry. Let's see. Let's check for when this happened, for the touch, so you could see it and witness it for yourself. When again you got the signal to go down on it. That's why I'm showing you mainly the entries, because I know 100% for sure that people struggle to realize where the entry is. I think it's very obvious, and everyone knows by now how to read the orange road, how many arrows you have against you, with you, against the trend, with the trend. You all know that by now. However, what's the tricky part is, and that's where people miss trades, is the entry. Where exactly is the entry? How do you know that this is gonna go down and not up against you? What are the confirmations that you need? And even though I told you what they are, momentum, DX, or arrow, you still doubt it, and you've got to see it as often as possible. So this is what this video is about, all the entries that you need to take. So you're gonna let this thing go up until here. Now if you have a 30 minutes up, you also have to have this one touching the top BB band. You can see how this 5 minutes went way past its top BB band because of having a pink 15 up and a 30 pink up. Because this thing needs to touch now here and here. When you get hours on 15 or 30 minutes, you better believe that this is gonna go up until here, especially if it's a super pink. If it's a small red, it's not that. It's going to touch the orange road and come back down. It's not going to go through it. The same thing. See? If it's a small red, it's going to come from the orange road and touch the top BB band, but it's not going to go all the way through it, like if it started from here. Now, this is super strong, so you're going to let this thing go, touch the top BB band, and then look for downs, because it's going to come down. Unless you get arrows on 1 and 4 hour with it, but you don't, because these things are gonna come back. You still have this with you, so it's gonna come down. It's also touching the top BB band, is on the top BB band, so this thing has to come down, even if it's a trend up. It's way too high right now, and it has to come down, and you just wait for that moment. Now this didn't touch yet, so you gotta wait for a little bit more of a confirmation. You can't just enter on a small red like that. You gotta wait. It's safer, even if you miss 2 pips between here and there, you still gotta wait. So now I have a Hashi arrow with you and a small 5 red. We need to get a DX or a momentum, and we're in. Now we get a super pink, so this is good. So we're 3 pips away from the top BB band. It's not that bad. You don't have to panic about it. We're gonna get a momentum and then we're gonna enter. So for newbies, I would say wait for momentum or DX, even if you have this, because this didn't come back yet and you're not 100% sure. Now we got a DX. Now we enter. You see, when DX comes, mom follow. So now we took it at 2. So we missed around 4 pips. This is how accurate you gotta be. However, for newbies, it's best for your entry to be based on DX and momentum, and of course arrows. But if you have DX and momentum with you, you can see your trade is going that way. So that was your entry on EU. Now at the same time, this is where your entry is gonna be on UC. As you can see, it's starting already to fix up to be a trade up. It's a super pink. It's from the bottom of the BB band. It touched the orange road. You can see the wick. The same story here. You just enter now at 83 because you got also Heishi arrow. So 83, you take this up also at the same time. Look where it's at. It's touched already the orange road. This touched already the orange road. So there's no danger that it's going to come back down. It's definitely going to go up. And the DX already changed in your favor, so it's just going to be a minute until this thing comes your way, you see? And you entered at 83, so you saved already 3 pips by the time the momentum kicked in. But you got a DX with you, which was good. Now this, we took it at 0.2, I think, right? And this at 83. So 94, so we're almost 10 pips now. So see how nicely this started from here, you got the confirmation being the super ping, the momentum, the DX, and you went in. Even if you missed 4 pips, because I didn't really want you to say go in now, where we had no DX and momentum, and then think that it's okay to do that, and maybe you'll repeat that in future situations, and you'll say, oh well, but Anisa showed me in the video that you could do without this and that. No, it was still small red. I would have taken it because I knew 100% sure it's going to come down. Why? Because we had these two still here. We had this one here. And also why? Because it was at the top of the BB band. At the top of the BB band, it had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Also, this was at the top of the BB band, so I knew we had to come down eventually. And I knew there's nowhere up to go because we didn't have any arrows up with the trend. So that's why I didn't show it to you from 0.6 and from 0.2, because you needed some confirmation, and you got it. So now our trade here on UC, we took it at 83, now it's almost 10 pips, and you won it by now. Why? See, you got at 92, so 9 pips, because you're at the top of the BB band, you're at the top of the BB band, you're at the top of the BB band, and I wouldn't really wait for an arrow to come against me if it's at the top of all these 3 BB bands. If it's only at the top of this BB band and my candle is here, sure, I'll let it run up until here. But if this is also at the top of the BB band and this is also at the top of a BB band, and I can see the wick now, that it's definitely for me a sign to get out, and usually I get out. So that was already almost 10 pips. It was actually a 92, so that was 9 pips. So you took 9 pips in. Again, you don't always have to take exactly 10 pips. It can be 9, it could be 8.5, 9.5, whatever. If it's meant that it's gonna make you win, and you can see, analyze it now, and you can see that it's coming back down, and you don't really want to risk it, although it's probably gonna touch the orange road and bounce back up, then just take it there, where it was. Same story here. So let's find another entry for you. Same story with the E right now. It's probably going to go up until the orange road and bounce back down. Because it has nowhere to go. It has nothing new against it. It has nothing new against it. So let me put it up further a bit. So you see, it touched. Let's let it touch the... So you could have, let's say, taken this and you could have entered it again on the orange road, like most of the traders do, and take it back down again. Again, like I tell you, I don't really take a lot of orange road trades because there's not plenty of space between that, and I take 10. And this from here to there, it's definitely more than 10. And that's where I'm happy to stay at. But I'll show you orange roads too if I see them. And usually after a huge drop like this, it retraces a bit, and usually the first wall is the orange road, and then it goes back down again, which it will right now. So it goes to 96, 97 I think, and then as soon as the new candle prints at 10:15, in 2 minutes time, so I didn't even let that candle print. So at 97, it touched the orange road, and then it came back down, and now a new printing started. So you see, it went to 93, so you actually got 10 pips out of it. And now it's at the top of the BB band, top of the BB band. You got blues up your way. So I would just let this thing, again, do the same thing. Let it come back down and then take it up. Now this thing, see if you've entered at 97, I think it was. It was another 10 pips almost. And it was an orange road entry. It touched it at 97, and as you can see, it's sucking it down. You still have red momentum with you. This is where Jazz says you don't need another momentum or DX with you because nothing changed. So you touched it, you can see the wick, so you could enter even at 96 because now you only saw the wick now. And then you just let it run down. And then you're 6 pips in profit. Actually more. Now you've got 10 pips. So that's an orange road trade entry. Now this thing went really high up. Again, we had a new 15 with it, but if we wouldn't have had this 15 minutes with it, it would have come down because it was super at the top of the BB band, and this was not the trend. Our trend was not up on UC, it was down. So we couldn't have expected it to be such a high move. That's why it's important when you go against the trend with arrows with you, still consider it that at the top of the BB bands on 15 or 30 minutes, it's gonna come back down unless you get a surprising late arrow, which it happened here. So this is the reason why this move happened, and don't beat yourself up when you see something like this happening, thinking that, oh, I missed it. It's okay, it's fine. It was a late arrow anyway, it showed up late, so, and it was also at the top of the BB band, so you had every right to exit it. Because you know when it touches the top BB band, it's gonna come back down, which it will. Okay, now let's check another trade for other entries. I just want to show you entries. Now this again needs to retrace either back to the orange road or to the BB band. Back to the orange road or the BB band. Same story, back to the orange road or the BB band, and then we take it back up again with momentum or TX or arrows. So here we go. G is retracing. Let's see if it's gonna move past this or it's just gonna touch the orange road and then come back down. Now this is gonna probably also touch the orange road and come back down unless we get a new arrow printing. Yes, in 1 minute we're gonna get a new arrow on 15 minutes. So we'll see where that prints, and if there's space between that and here, you know it's gonna come back here and touch it and then come back down. So we just wait. You gotta wait. This is a waiting game, but it's also a waiting money-making game. So you'd rather just get used to the waiting. Okay, let's see what's happening. So this touched the orange road at 44. It's deciding right now, you can see. You have the X red, this green. So we might as well just get probably some signal up here and it's going to shoot back up until it touches this orange road or this orange road, depending of where you get the signals from. So you just wait. Same story here. You just wait. You gotta wait until it comes back up. Back up to here or to here. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like it doesn't want to go past the orange road. It's struggling. You can see how it was deciding. But you still let it go because you still have no DX changing or momentum. This is still red, this is still green. So you wait. You just wait. So this nice retracement. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes to here so I can show it to you again how to take it from the BB bands. Now, when you see the space, you know there's some arrow that's going to come at some point or another and push it up until here, either on the 15 or the 30 minutes. Or the 5, which is going to make it up until here, and then that means it's going to touch the orange road. So the top BB band of 5 minutes is the orange road on 15 minutes. The top BB band on 15 minutes is the orange road on 30 minutes. The top BB band on orange road 30 minutes, on the 30 minutes is the orange road on 1 hour, and so on. So all these top BB bands are there for a reason. So let's let this thing go up until wherever it wants to, and when we see it's kind of not sure whether it wants to go up and there's a small wick here happening, it might be a sign that it wants to move back down. So let's find out. This is why a lot of the time I don't like orange road trades, because it might turn against you and they still have some space to go up before it comes back down. However, if you take one from the top of the BB band, there's nowhere to go if this is a downtrend, or if you have the arrows down with you. There's nowhere higher than this to go, because it would have probably been here the trade or here the candle, the candle, not the trade, and that meant that it must have come down at some point or another. That's why I like BB band trades. Okay, come on, mate. So I think this one's creating a little wick, so this might want to come down now already. But we have to wait. We still have good momentum, we still have red DX. Let's see what's it gonna be. Come on. Come on, you see. Why am I waiting? I could just put it forward. Let's see. Okay, so when you got that momentum, that would have been your entry right there. Right there at 45. Even if this didn't come back till the average of 15 minutes and there's no signal with it. So that means it just didn't want to go up and it's coming down. Okay, let's see how. Now you can see it went a little bit against you. Again, it happens from the orange road. But it's at 44 now. You got your DX with you also at the same time. We entered on at 45. So we let it come. So that would have been your entry, either there or there when I showed it to you now. Did I just close it? No. Okay. Come on, trade. Oh, what happened here? Okay, so I guess this one didn't work. It worked up until where? Let's see where. Where's the problem? When we got that band flip, that would have been our signal to exit. So even if we needed to exit, we would have still been fine because it was at 40 and you've entered at 45. So this is another type of an example where you know to exit. Now again, it happens, you're an MT or a trader, whatever, it happens. And also, I've told you about the space, this never closed, so this would have been already a signal of warning that something's gonna come back up. Even if you see it touched the top EV band, that still wasn't enough because this thing didn't do its job, this thing didn't touch the orange road. So it's good that I have a bad example to show you too, because then you know how to retrace it too. So you could have exited at 44 or 40 and you would have still been fine. Now, what happened is you could see also the wick on the 1 hour and on 4 hours, it touched the bottom of the BB band. So this is another warning that something's gonna come in the next hour. It's gonna go probably back up or back down if you have new arrows down with it. Now, let's find out another trade. Now, this was not an easy day because, like I said, it's against the trend. I think it's only GU that's with the trend. And even that, it only went up until here. It never went further down because we had the daily up on it. So this was not an easy peasy day to trade. So, and also it was happy hour, of course. Hello, I just remembered that it was the time for happy hour. So of course that would have happened. And if it would have probably happened at 10, this would have been fine for you. Okay, so you also have to remember when happy hour comes around. Now I don't really trade happy hour because I don't like it. So you see how it was ranging here? It didn't move anywhere. Now this touched the orange road. However, it's planning to probably go up because of the happy hour that I missed. And it did. Let's see where the happy hour happened. So let's see where it started. And you see usually, and again, that's why I don't like happy hours. Sometimes they start at the orange road, or they're not really from the bottom, or I don't really like it, so I just don't. So it happened here at 47, 48 with the momentum. Pretty fast. And it went up until 55. So that would have been 10 pips for happy hour if you wanted to take that. So it happened when you could have waited to see where you could have taken it when the arrow appeared or with the momentum. Probably best for newbies with momentum. So the arrow showed up at, let's see, what time did the arrow show up? At 45, 6 almost. Come on. Yeah, 46. And then 48 with the signals with momentum. And it was done for the day. 55. So you could have taken that as a happy hour gift if you wished. Again, like I said, I don't trade happy hour most of the time. I take it sometimes, but not all the time. I'm not really into happy hour. And I don't trade after happy hour because things just get a bit slower or change, so I'm not really into that. But I'm into safe trades, into, again, entries from the top of the BB band, or from the bottom of the BB band, with arrows with you, or with trend with you. That's all that I do all day long. Just doing that. That's why I don't really like orange roads, even though I showed you a few orange road trades and I've showed you one that failed, also because I didn't check the time that was happy hour to come. So, but you could have exited in profit, so that's still fine. Again, I only like trades from the bottom of the BB bands or from the top of the BB bands. From the top of the BB bands here all the way down here, that was probably around 20 something or more pips. From the bottom of the BB bands. That's me. So hope you like this video. If you want me to do some more videos, I will do some more videos, and hopefully I'll see you this week in the room. And sorry that I'm not lashing at anyone, I'm just waiting for my dinner to cook right now. At the moment I'm super hungry, so hope you like this video. If you don't, let me know and I'll make another one. And also hope you saw my entries and hope that you understood when to enter and just believe when the DX shows up or the momentum that it's happening, that it's the right place to take it at. Love you all. See you tomorrow.